Imagine this. You receive two job offers in the mail. The first is a well-paying position in a big city. Your daily tasks are minimal, and your income covers everything you could possibly want. You'd likely rub shoulders with celebrities and sip cocktails at rooftop lounges. The second offer? It pays just enough to cover your bills. Your ideas would be crucial to the company's success, but you'd have to get creative, maybe even build your own hammock instead of buying one for your balcony. Now, which job would you choose? If your answer is the first, you might just be today's philosopher's least favorite kind of person. Friedrich Nietzsche, whose ideas influenced existentialism, postmodernism, psychology, literature, and even pop culture, viewed comfort as a creeping paralysis, a suffocating blanket that stifled the very core of human potential. To him, comfort wasn't a reward. It was a trap. To understand Nietzsche's deep aversion to comfort, we need to look at three things: his critique of society's decay, his embrace of struggle, and his vision of human flourishing. And to do that, it helps to know the kind of man he was. Nietzsche was born in 1844 in Rücken, a small village in what's now Germany. His father, a Lutheran pastor, died when Nietzsche was just 5. That early loss marked the beginning of a life defined by hardship. Brilliant from a young age, Nietzsche became a professor of classical philology at the University of Basel by the age of 24. But his promising career was quickly cut short by a storm of health issues: crippling migraines, stomach pain, near blindness, and a weak body that always seemed to betray his sharp mind. These weren't minor problems. They were relentless, lifelong afflictions. Yet Nietzsche didn't hide from them. He embraced them. His belief in struggle wasn't about glorifying pain. It was about warning against the dangerous comforts that numb the soul. He saw modern societies becoming more organized and more comfortable, but also more mediocre. The comfortable man, Nietzsche warned, craves safety above all, avoids risks, and clings to the familiar. This avoidance kills ambition and individuality, creating a kind of spiritual sedation. Nietzsche knew this firsthand. His life was anything but comfortable. He lived in solitude, drifting through rented rooms in Switzerland and Italy, hoping to find a climate that would ease his pain. Relief rarely came. His friendships were intense but short-lived, and his romantic hopes went unfulfilled. He was often penniless, living off small pensions and rare royalties. Yet in that isolation, stripped of distraction, he produced some of the most profound works in philosophy, like Thus Spoke Zarathustra and Beyond Good and Evil. His views weren't abstract theories. They were forged in fire. He believed that without real struggle, people never learn what they're truly made of. Comfort, in his eyes, leads to a soft, passive life, one that avoids hardship and, as a result, avoids true joy and discovery. Struggle isn't just necessary, it's sacred. That brings us to the figure of the last man, one of Nietzsche's most haunting ideas. The last man is the opposite of the Übermensch, the self-overcoming creative force of human greatness. The last man doesn't want transformation or challenge. He just wants to be comfortable. He invents his version of happiness, avoids conflict, and lives a dull, safe life full of small pleasures and no passion. Nietzsche saw this not as some future possibility, but as a real danger already taking shape. The last man doesn't suffer, but he also doesn't thrive. He's numb. In avoiding pain, he unknowingly avoids meaning. Nietzsche's battle wasn't only against comfort, it was also against the moral systems that reinforced it. He challenged Christianity, not out of spite, but because he believed it encouraged meekness, guilt, and submission, rather than strength, risk, and affirmation. He warned that as traditional values faded, we'd be left with a spiritual vacuum, and comfort would eagerly fill the void. One can only imagine what Nietzsche would say about today's world. Our obsession with wellness, convenience, and curated calm might strike him as an evolved form of the last man syndrome, a culture afraid of discomfort, allergic to offense, and constantly seeking dopamine hits over deep reflection. He'd see a society slowly losing its will to power, its hunger to stretch, struggle, and grow. But, and this is important, Nietzsche wasn't advocating for suffering just for the sake of it. His message was that greatness is born through overcoming, that joy and strength come after struggle, not instead of it. He spoke of amor fati, the love of one's fate, as the ultimate embrace of life in all its beauty and brutality. Nietzsche's life ended in tragedy. In 1889, after a mental collapse, some say triggered by seeing a horse being beaten, he spent his final years in a state of madness. He died in 1900 in Weimar, cared for by his mother and sister. The exact cause remains debated, though many attribute it to the effects of syphilis or a slow neurological breakdown. But his legacy didn't die. His work still confronts us with hard truths. He reminds us that while comfort is pleasant, it's rarely fulfilling. That in seeking only ease, we might be trading away the very parts of ourselves that are capable of greatness. So maybe next time you're offered the easy path, ask yourself what Nietzsche would say. Then ask yourself what kind of life you actually want.